And you know who knows that? J.D. Vance knows that. How much did it cost American taxpayers in terms of the strike to the Iranian school where kids were killed? Do you have that number? In terms of the missiles we used?
As I've said, that unfortunate situation remains under investigation.
You don't know how much it costs the taxpayer?
But I wouldn't tie a cost to that, to anything.
It's a reasonable question, no, sir? I mean, our taxpayer money was going there. Do you know how much it will cost Americans in terms of their increased cost in gas and food over the next year because of the Iran war?
I would simply ask you what the cost is of an Iranian nuclear bomb.
I'm going to give you that opportunity.
I would simply ask you what the... you're playing gotcha questions about domestic things. I'm not...
You're saying it's a gotcha question to ask what it's going to be in terms of the increased cost of gas.
Why won't you answer what it costs to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear bomb?
I give you that, sir. But let me...
What would it cost? What would you pay to ensure Iran doesn't get a nuclear bomb? What would you pay?
I reclaim my time. Do you not know? You had no one do the analysis of what the increased cost of gas and food on the American people are going to be?
What is the cost of Iran holding that straight at issue with nuclear weapons?
It's $631 billion, which means it's an increase of $5,000 a year for American households.
This explosive showdown between Defense Secretary Hegseth and Representative Khanna has shaken all of America. During the live hearing, Khanna revealed the numbers the administration allegedly didn't want you to see. A $5,000 war tax on every American family. And the most shocking part, even J.D. Vance now appears to be standing against this policy. Are Trump's own allies starting to abandon Hegseth? Watch this report to see how this war is destroying your grocery bills and gas prices.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Hegseth, tomorrow is 2 months since the war has begun. You've testified that it was $25 billion in cost in terms of the munitions we used and what we paid for it. But when you add to that the damage that was done to our bases and today's dollars for buying replacement munitions and replacement aircrafts, what has the total cost been over the last 60 days?
That number right now reflects the total cost that we're seeing.
Including buying in today's dollars the new weapons and replacements, and including the damage there? That's your testimony?
If there's adjustments to that, I would defer to the comptroller on that.
And how much are you seeing in terms of, are you asking in terms of supplemental funding just for the Iran mission from this committee?
If and when a supplemental is submitted,
how much?
The majority of it would not just be for,
what would be the ballpark for Iran?
Munitions related to the entirety of what we want to get done.
A number. What would you submit?
It would be within on Iran, it would be less than $25 billion, but there's a lot more we would ask for beyond just Iran.
You're saying it's $25 billion. Okay, I would just, if you come back, you want to revise those numbers because all the experts are disagreeing with you when it comes to today's dollars and damage. It's $631 billion, which means it's an increase of $5,000 a year for American households. Now, let me give you this point. You're saying that your operation is preventing a nuclear Iran. Will you acknowledge that there is an economic cost to the American people for doing what you believe is necessary to make Iran denuclear? Will you acknowledge the economic cost?
We have an incredible economic team that's managing this better than what the previous
administration
did to our economy, what the previous administration did with inflation,
you know what's upsetting?
I reclaim my time. With COVID, and you're going to lecture this administration about the economy?
You know what is upsetting?
Incredible.
You didn't even do the analysis on how much it's costing the American people. It's one thing if you said, okay, it costs the American people $5,000, but we think it's worth it. That's what we've done in World War II and other wars. Here's what it costs. You got to pay for it. You don't even know what the average American is paying. You don't know what we paid in terms of the missiles that hit the Iranian school. You don't know what we're paying in terms of gas. You don't know what we're paying in terms of food. Your $25 billion number is totally off. It's the incompetence. It's the incompetence. Let me ask you this. Certainly, maybe here we'll find agreement. There was still 440 pounds of low-enriched uranium, correct, when President Obama, after the JCPOA? Is that accurate?
The amounts and types are classified.
Okay. Will you acknowledge that there were 970 pounds of uranium enriched after Trump tore up the JCPOA?
The JCPOA was a terrible deal that allowed Iran a path to a nuclear bomb.
You deal with vague platitudes. I'm asking you about numbers. Like, you don't know what gas costs. You don't know what food costs. You don't know what the operation costs. You know, I get sound bites. But how about numbers? Do you know how much the enriched uranium was after you ripped up the JCPOA? Trump did.
I'll give you a number. I know that, as was stated by early on, the price of gas is twice as expensive in California, your home state, as anywhere else in the country because of the horrible policies your state pursued.
You know what? It used to be that type of stuff worked, and then you started to lose the people that you campaigned you wanted to be for, because you said you wouldn't get us into bad wars. You said you would bring down the prices. You know what I'm sad for? I'm sad for all the people who voted for Trump. I'm sad for them because you betrayed them. You betrayed a lot of that MAGA base. And you know who knows that? J.D. Vance knows that. That's why he's upset.
Friends, the real explosion happened after the hearing when major news network MSNBC openly tore into Pete Hegseth on live television. Defense experts and former generals reportedly described Hegseth as a child trying to run the Pentagon. According to several analysts, this immature behavior is not only embarrassing Donald Trump, but could also become a serious risk to America's national security. Watch how experts broke down every contradiction, every weak response, and even Hegseth's body language in front of the entire world.
And former commander of U.S. Army Europe, retired Army Lieutenant General Mark Herdling, who we are happy to say is joining MS now as a military analyst.
And that is a reason to strike up the band. We're gonna get on to Ukraine in a minute, General, because so much is going on right now. We're literally seeing history move before our eyes. It's extraordinary what the Ukrainians are doing every day. But I want to first have you comment on what we saw yesterday. It's too easy, quite frankly, to continue criticizing this child's performance. What I'd like you to tell our viewers is what should a mature SecDef in the middle of a war said to Congress yesterday? What would you have liked to hear?
Yeah, Joe, it's a great question because, first of all, we have to review what this hearing was supposed to be all about. The center point of this hearing was to defend a $1.45 trillion request for a bump up in the Defense Department budget. I didn't hear a whole lot of discussion about the budget at all. That's a 40% increase in what they were initially given by the NDAA. So that kind of fell by the wayside. And the second thing I'd say, having testified before members of Congress myself, the disrespect that was shown by the Secretary of Defense to the organization that has First Amendment powers of basically questioning different department heads about what they're doing in an oversight role was just, to me, beyond the pale. There was smirks, there was bad body language, there was arguments, there was over-talking. And again, having myself testified before Congress, that's just not a way to win the approval of the budget that you're trying to submit. There's 50%, almost 50% of the Congress now that just sees the secretary as someone who is going to bluster, who's going to talk about things, who's going to overtalk and not answer questions. So in and of itself, even some of the answers he was giving in terms of the cost of the war, trying to answer good questions about potential war crimes that were committed, responsibility and accountability of him and the force. There is no one questioning the actions of the U.S. military. They have been magnificent in what they have been asked to do. I have not seen a single person say that, the military actions have been bad. What the question is what's the end state? What comes after the military? What hits the next sets of decisive points in Iran, according to the theorist Jomini, and how do you get to the center of gravity to get them at the negotiating table? That's all by the wayside right now, and it's just confusing to me how he can, to use your term, go full Bondi and expect any kind of coordination with the members of Congress who give him the money that he needs for the Defense Department.
Friends, do you also believe that ordinary American families should have to pay the price for Washington's mistakes in the form of a $5,000 war tax? Will J.D. Vance's opposition force this government to change its policies? Make sure to share your opinion in the comment section. We read every single comment. And if you stand with the truth and want to receive breaking updates like this before anyone else, like this video right now and subscribe to our channel immediately. Don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss any major revelation.